Hey there, and welcome back to My Green Pets. Today we've got a couple different things to look at. We're going to be inside looking at what's blooming, and we're going to be outside to see what's growing, and then we're going to go on a little trip to visit some other growers and also a couple of orchid nurseries. So a whole lot of things to show you today. Stay tuned right here on My Green Pets. Starting off indoors, Clivia miniata, the bush lily, has opened up all of its flowers, and now we've got a wonderful display. There are about 10, I think, and they are looking just lovely. The big silver vase bromeliad has opened up its bract all the way and started pushing out little blue flowers, and these tube-shaped flowers are only open for one day at a time, and then they fade. But when they fade, they take on this kind of hot pinkish color, so even when they fade, they're really pretty, and altogether it makes for a really nice show. Outside, it's been a very stormy, rainy summer, but that is much to the delight of Pachara Delight, this Vanda. And in fact, most of the plants out in the shade tent are doing pretty well, in spite of the high amounts of rain. This Cattleya hybrid is covered with ants that are feasting on the sugary substance that it produces on its new growths. Last year this plant had one small growth and one really large growth, and this year it looks like it's putting out 3 medium-sized growths. And it turns out that one catasetum type just wasn't enough. I've got a new plant. Picked this one up at Hausermann's, which I'll talk about later. But this is a very well-known catasetum type. This is the Wine Delight, and I'm really looking forward to this blooming. I'm not sure if it will bloom on this growth, or maybe I'll have to wait until next year. Moving on, our dear little Japanese wind orchid, or Fukidan, is done blooming for the summer, so we'll be looking for a few more blooms next year, hopefully. Up here are some of my Cattleya babies, little seedlings, and most of them are completing some kind of a growth for this summer, which is great. This big grassy Maxillariella is pretty much done blooming for the year. The flowers lasted from the beginning of May to the beginning of July, more or less, so now it's time for it to start putting out new growth. I had been hoping that this Stanhopea might bloom this summer, but it's putting out a new growth, and I haven't seen any spikes, so maybe not. Of course, the Bulbophyllum orchids, being from Southeast Asia, have really enjoyed this summer with the almost daily rains, high temperatures, and high humidity. They all seem to be doing very well. I'm especially excited for this one to bloom. This is going to be very similar to the Elizabeth Ann Buckleberry. Okay, and we're back to the Bulbophyllum that grows very well but does not want to bloom. We've got some kind of new growth popping out here, and I'm not even going to speculate. We're just going to keep an eye on it and see what it ends up being. Here's some more of the Cattleya rex seedlings. All the Cattleya rex plants came from the same flask, but some are just smaller and take longer to grow. Down here I've got a few slipper orchids, and I want to separate them. They don't look like they're doing as hot. This one was a gift, actually. This is the Paphiopedilum lowii, and it was given to me when I went to Massachusetts a few weeks ago. It is not doing great, but if it improves, it will be a pretty spectacular flower. Of course, over here we've got more of the Phalaenopsis. I keep bringing them out one by one as the blooms drop. We've been looking at this in the past few weeks. The Sogogotris was identified last week. And this is another new plant. This is a Phalaenopsis schilleriana. And man, I've wanted these for a while. They're supposed to be fragrant, and their leaves are just gorgeous. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, moving over to the slipper orchid table, we can see that this Paphiopedilum prime child is really starting to extend its stem out, and we can really appreciate how big this plant and these flowers are going to be. Right now it looks like it's going to be 3 flowers, and when they're all in bloom at the same time, it's really going to steal the show. Okay, well, now that we've seen what's going on with my green pets, I wanted to show you what I got up to last week, checking out some other people's green pets. Okay, so the new orchids that I showed you just a few minutes ago came from here. Orchids by Hausermann, just outside Chicago. This is their main showroom, and I could not get out of this room. It was so huge. There were so many plants to look at. The entire complex is over 4 acres. It's enormous. If you have a chance to visit, you should definitely go because it's amazing. My second trip was to Michigan to meet up with some people that I had chatted with online in different orchid message boards, but have never actually met. So when I knew I'd be visiting this area, I thought, I'm going to get in contact with these people and see. And sure enough, they were very kind and invited me in to see their greenhouses and their plants. And these people have got a lot more experience than me, many, many years of orchid growing. And it was just, nice to see that, first of all, the hobby can sustain itself for so long. But also, it was nice to see that even people that have got decades of experience growing, they're still learning new things. So that was really nice to know. Now, the owner of this greenhouse was super excited because it was about to be finished. Can you imagine going outside and having one of these empty and ready to fill up with all the plants you could possibly want? Amazing. He had several indoor light setups, and I paid close attention to that because I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a little bit of this come this winter. Okay, the last stop on this trip was Porter's Orchids, which is in central Michigan. And Mr. Porter was very kind to show me, his plants and show me around. And would you believe that the majority of the plants you see here are his own personal collection? Pretty impressive. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another episode of My Green Pets. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great week, and hope you guys have good luck with your green pets. So take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.